Each page was like a new revelation. The faded recollections and the utterly forgotten just rushing back as if resurrected to new life. I found myself this past week staying late, spending hours sifting through the debris of countless conversations and ideas. The chore I had dreaded for so long turned into an adventure. And in that moment of transformation, I could clearly feel the presence of Christ. First off, I let go of a lot of things. Among these were my phone logs, a record of who I called, when I called them, and what we talked about, stretching all the way back to 2002. I started doing this in 1997 at the recommendation of my first rector, who mentored me in the first years of my journey as a priest. He retired after 40 years of faithful service just a few weeks ago, and the advice he gave me was sound. What he did not intend, I am sure, is that I would keep those phone logs in perpetuity. But I did, probably out of insecurity, just in case somebody accused me of not having called them back when actually I had, but their teenager had erased the voicemail message, and that I'd failed to reach out and do my job properly. I shredded each and every one of those phone logs. Most of the calls were pedestrian, but I knew that every few pages there would probably be a conversation that needed to be kept secret, so I sent the whole lot right through the machine. It was more than freedom from clutter. It was a release from fear and a renewal of trust in the people who minister with me. Now, it may sound corny, but the peace I felt as I fed page after page into the grinding blades had to be Jesus cheering me on, shred, baby, shred. Then there were the notes of thanks and encouragement, often sent in response to no particular deed. And I was touched by the thoughtful kindness, and these notes reminded me that there is a force at work within the community, love born of the Holy Spirit, and that's pure grace. It could be argued that I somehow earned the praise and gratitude of the people who wrote me. However, I view those notes as gifts, and kept many of them in a file I have labeled treasure, so that whenever I feel down or begin to doubt the love and wisdom of people, I can produce evidence to set myself straight. The presence of Jesus dwells in those pages, and I wanted to share an anonymous one with you. This is from several years ago. As I think about some of the things we discussed the other day, I sometimes sense a feeling of doubt or uncertainty as to how things may turn out. But doubt is not a sign of weakness. Instead, doubt is what brings change about when we feel unsteady, when we falter, when we see our hard-won knowledge evaporate before our eyes. Doubt actually puts us on the verge of growth. Mother Teresa apparently was tormented by doubt of her own faith, but could it be that her uncertainty was what drove her to accomplish greatness? Doubt makes faith a virtue, and I think there is a little of St. Thomas in all of us as well. Doubt requires more courage than conviction. It consumes more energy. Conviction is a resting place where we can settle in without effort. Doubt is a bottomless pit that requires our constant attention, but its resolution is what makes us do great things. I just wanted to reassure you that I may have expressed some doubts, but they are also a source of strength and energy for me. When doubts are resolved, they leave me a better person than before. They reinforce my faith and give me courage to plow ahead when the future is unclear. And I'm blessed with a lot of notes like that. And digging through my files, uncovered them. Woo-hoo! I could go on and on with how this little chore turned into an adventure moved me. I laughed, I cried, but mostly I sat. Flurries of furious cleansing punctuated by quiet reflection as I immersed myself in the recent history of this parish, which in large part is my own personal history. I could go on, but I know that I need to share with you how this encounter with Christ has led me to change my behavior. First of all, it taught me that in all my focus on the parish, tending to its health and growth in the gospel, there are persons with a variety of backgrounds, aspirations, spiritual gifts, regrets, and needs. I need to pay closer attention to each precious child of God because Christ dwells within each member of the body, every single cell, every molecule. I also learned that purging my files is a metaphor for work that every disciple of Jesus Christ needs to attend to constantly. I can no longer compost the daily events of my life, pleasant, unpleasant, or indifferent, by stuffing them into a pile or a box somewhere inside me. The sifting and recycling and shredding that happen to my paper files needs to be a regular part of how I handle what's inside my head and my heart. This type of work, just like the other, will bring Christ more fully present as I let go of what's unnecessary and treasure the grace. Now that I am almost finished with the great file purge and reorganization of 2010, I feel a little sad to see the adventure end. But I realize that through that process, a new adventure has begun. And that just as Jesus has been powerfully present in the task about to be completed with my paper files, that Jesus will continue to be present. I will find him in places I would never expect. And the surprise of that discovery will only add to the delight and inspire me further to use that grace on behalf of others. Yeah.